Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 224 of the Audible Farm Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association believes the arts should be accessible to everyone, and so do we. So we love their support. They're a great organization for Fort Dodge and the surrounding area. They got a nice community calendar. It's definitely worth checking out. Their website, it's getting redone at the moment. Go check out their website, though. It's packed full of information. You can make a donation there. You can become a member. You can check out the members currently. You can see what's going on. It's, again, like I said, a great tool for the community, and we love them here at Audible Farm. We've been, interacting with them for years, so just got to say thank you. They've always been a supporter. They're such a great organization, so thank you very much to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. And check out their website. It's down below in the description. This episode, I'm sitting down with Shelly Bottorff. Shelly is the executive director of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. It's great. I love sitting down talking with Shelly. It seems like she's always in a great mood. She's always trying to support everybody and everything everybody's doing. It's such a great organization, the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Couldn't have found a better executive director than Shelly. We sit down and talk about all sorts of stuff. I do want to say this is the Halloween episode, so I have a Peanuts shirt on. I have the Charlie Brown shirt on, and she's wearing some Fraggle Rock antennas, I think, or the ears. Someone correct me on that one. But yeah, Shelly and I were, just enjoying ourselves recording the Halloween episode of, the Audible Farm Podcast. It's great. We sit down and talk about all sorts of good stuff. Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association does for the community, what they can do for businesses, members. They help out nonprofits as well as for-profit businesses. It's such a great organization that helps out everybody involved. They organize things. Shelly helps coordinate all this stuff. It's so great. She runs meetings with people. You can see her at her office building. We talk about the auditorium they have. We kind of gloss over a lot of this stuff, but I do want to say Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association does so much for the community, and it's such a great organization, and they help out so much. So thank you guys very much for that. They've, back when the podcast was going through the first 4 years, they were somebody that was supporting us. They always wanted to try and help out any way they could, and so it's just such a great organization, such a great group of people, a great board. The members are fun. It's fun going to their website and checking out the members. But anyways, we'll talk more about this in the outro. This episode's super fun, sitting down talking with Shelly Bottorff, and basically why she's such a great person for doing what she does. She's a great choice to be the executive director of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Enjoy this episode, everybody.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
Sitting down with Shelly Bottorff today, everybody. Shelly Bottorff, you have never been on the Audible Farm Podcast. What a travesty.
I know.
That is criminal, honestly.
Well, to be honest, these stress me out.
Why do you have a podcast? You have your own podcast.
That part doesn't stress me out because with that podcast, I have some control.
Yes, that's true.
With this, I couldn't prepare for this.
Yeah, you know why? Because I didn't send you any liner notes.
I know, and I find that very uncomfortable.
Well, I usually don't. That was like the beauty of this podcast was I was just like, let's just talk and see what happens, and hopefully I don't have to edit too much out.
Right.
And I think we'll be fine.
I admire that.
Yeah.
Off the cuffness.
Yeah, it makes it easier to listen to because, I have some things in mind that I'd like to talk about, but, obviously, we're just going to see what happens. Hopefully, I'm going to nail them all. I used to sometimes carry notes with me, but today I've got nothing. So
okay.
All right.
God. Okay.
So we'll see what's going to happen here. Oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to take this audio level down just a touch, and then we're going to keep going.
Okay.
All right. So you are the executive director of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association.
I am.
And I've referenced you guys maybe a couple times here or there in the prior years of the podcast. But in your own words, what do you guys do at the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association?
Okay, well, this one question will take the entire podcast.
All right.
No. Okay, so our mission is the best way to sum it up. We celebrate the arts and artists in our community. Mm-hmm. We connect different artists in different genres with each other in the community. and we collaborate with different entities in our community.
Okay, so by artists, do you mean like people painting stuff? Because I mean, there are paintings. You got obviously a painted piano and all this good stuff around.
Right.
But you guys do music, kind of things
So when
too.
when I say artists, I'm including photographers, visual artists, music, theater, writing, culinary. People that brew beer, people that make wine.
That
I
is
mean, those
true.
are all they take a talent and there's a science to some of that. But it's definitely a creative outlet.
Yeah.
So any creative outlet is really what we encompass.
Oh yeah, my headphones are dying. That's right. Boink. Okay, I'm good. I was
okay.
like, what the heck was that? It happened last episode. I'm sorry, everybody. But as you can see, we're sitting here actually in the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association building. This is only one tiny corner of this building. You should come check this out if you've never been here. It's right in downtown Fort Dodge, Iowa.
It is.
Yeah. So
It is.
what's the benefits of having a building to do this?
Sure.
And-
That's a good question. Good question.
Yeah.
So when we had this revitalization, this kind of
You're good. Don't
revamp of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts several years ago, we were having our board meetings at different locations. And then as we started to make more collaborative projects and create more collaborative projects with other people, it got hard to sometimes find a place to meet. It got hard to print something.
What do you mean?
Like literally print, like Fort Dodge Fine Arts didn't have an office.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and I worked from home at teaching private lessons at the time. So
right.
it was, you know, I wasn't going to have everybody at my house for meetings.
Hey, everybody, come on over.
yeah, come on over. 9 p.m.
Yeah,
But I don't know. But so that I mean, just the logistics of where do we keep our things? Where can we showcase artwork? Where can we have some smaller events? At the time, there was an empty office in the Growth Alliance.
Okay.
It's where the Main Street office is now.
Yeah, the one kind of right over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so when we started this revamp, they allowed us to use that office space
Okay.
for a while. And so that was great. We had a little bit more legitimacy to our organization.
Yeah.
The Community Foundation has been an amazing partner for us for years. So it was nice to be just down the hall from them. But again, we were growing. We weren't often just meeting with one person. You know, it was a whole boards of directors from different groups, and it just made sense to open a place that can be bright and colorful.
Yeah.
And work for us. And this space does. Kevin Crimmins used to have Permanent Collections Art Gallery in here. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't think I do.
And he had all kinds of amazing artists installed in here and had I don't know how many years worth of art shows, but he was kind of getting out of that, and so he sublet to us very cheaply. Very cheaply. He covered most of it. He's since gotten out of his attachment to the building, but it was a really smooth transition. I love it here. It's a great place to come to work.
So it's basically like an art lover passing on the love of art to an organization. That's really nice, actually. Like
It was.
I feel like, again, we talked about this a tiny bit in the FDT episode, which we'll come back to that in a second. But, you know, I feel like this town gets a bad rap sometimes, and there's so many good people here doing so many good things that I feel like the little minuscule pockets of negativity start to overshadow that for some reason or another. But when you have stuff like this that's happening, it's like, how come we don't have this in the front page of the paper, you know?
Right. Well, sometimes the negative talk is louder.
Oh, yeah, true.
You know, that's a continuing challenge for us as far as why are we important? Why are we important? Why are we important now? Why are the arts important? You know, repeating that to people over and over and over and over and over. You know, it gets tiresome. So it's kind of along the same lines that way.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though. I mean, it happened when I was in high school, but we have a deficit at the school, and what are we going to get rid of first? And the first thing they looked to chop off was anything in the arts area, and it's like, why would you get rid of this? This is the one. Okay, this is so weird. When we get off of work, all we do is consume art. TV shows, music, movies, YouTube stuff. I mean, it's literally all stuff that people associated with the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association would support, you know? It's those, and it's like, we need to get rid of this stuff. It's like, we need more tradesmen and accountants. Like, well, we do need those things, but they also need something to do when they're not doing those things.
It's true.
You know?
It's true. Well, and I think you could ask a whole group of people that would consider themselves not art lovers or don't appreciate art. You talk about, do you watch football? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, there's marching bands.
Yeah.
There's a reason why those logos were selected. There's a reason why those colors were selected.
Yeah. The production of the show is an art form in and of itself, which is like always undersold. I don't know. It just blows my mind how much people don't look deep enough into it to see like, this is why art is important and this is why we need it to happen. And Fort Dodge is just big enough where it's like, if you had an organization kind of like grabbing everyone together and being like, let's go, we're doing this. It helps out because it gains traction for these people that may or may not be able to gain traction over sometimes the negativity that comes out instead. For sure. Well, and there's people here that have lived here their whole life. They have no idea we have an art museum. Yeah, which blows me away.
They have no idea about the Carl King Band. They have no idea there's a silo.
Yeah, the silo.
I mean, the whole mural on there. I mean, it's like, well, okay, we're on the radio, we're in the paper, we're on social media. We're out and about all the time talking about it. Like, how do you not know?
Yeah.
But that's real.
I mean, I think about that when I play shows with like Jesse. I'm just throwing out roundish figures. Like, let's say I play 50 shows in a year with Jesse, and let's say he plays like maybe 100 shows total. Everyone should know who he is, but guess what? Maybe not everyone goes to, Shiny Top or River Hops or Amigos or, the Old Barnum Jams, or, maybe not everyone goes over to Byron's, and maybe not everyone goes up to Humboldt, and maybe not everyone, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So I always think about that too, where it's like, this feels like it should be very apparent to everyone, but maybe it's just my echo chamber that's making me feel this way.
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff though too that like goes on in towns. Like, I don't live in Fort Dodge, but there's stuff that goes on here or maybe in like Humboldt or another adjacent town that I'm in that I might not know about too, where it's like, oh, there's a bookstore in Humboldt,
Right.
And I'd kind of heard rumblings about it, but it wasn't until somebody posted a reel about it that I was like, bookstore in Humboldt. That's awesome. There's a bookstore in Humboldt, so.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it takes though, is you just have to get out there and just keep
I
peppering
had somebody
people.
ask me a couple weeks ago, what are the cover charges? Well, we don't go to live music, but we'd like to go. But what are the cover charges?
And Fort
I'm
Dodge,
like,
zero.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't think of one that has one. A big concert, yes, you're going to have ticket prices.
Yeah.
But just, the weekly live music at all the places, there is zero.
Yeah, they're not going to charge you to come in the door in Shiny Top.
No.
Or sneakers.
Right.
Or name
bootleggers.
Bootleggers.
Yeah, bootleggers.
Yeah.
Not going to come in the door.
Yeah, they're not going to have a cover charge of
No.
bootleggers people.
No. Eagles, the Jam, there's no cover for that. So I think there's just a lot of misconceptions.
Well,
with everything
some of
else.
that is also like, if you go different city to here, like Des Moines, you can go places there's cover charge sometimes there's not, and sometimes the cover charge scares people away, even if it's $5, which it's like, you can't sacrifice one beer at this location to listen to the music.
I know.
And then you think about it, it's like, well, if I give $5 and there's a show with 5 bands and there's 4 person in each band, I gave everyone that's playing music tonight a quarter. That's too expensive. It's like, are you serious?
I know.
But then I think that's one of the benefits of Fort Dodge though, is there's, the venue owners and promoters do a good job of taking care of the musicians here, and we don't have to go through the whole like paying a cover charge, et cetera, et cetera. It's a symbiotic relationship, whereas other places I feel like it's a lot of push and pull, and that's not what's going on here. And you actually play a part in that too here at Fort Dodge Fine Arts. I recall talking to the new owners. Oh, there they go.
Yeah, they were moving around too much on my head.
I remember talking to the new owners of River Hops about like, they said they were going to do some music there, and they were coming down to talk to you and have a meeting, because that's something that it's not like you are in charge of, but you help try to coordinate the businesses to be like, if you're going to have a show on Wednesday night, you probably shouldn't have the restaurant down the street 4 blocks away have a show on Wednesday night and make people choose.
Right.
You can. I mean, when Ragbri came to town, that was the case.
Free for all.
Yeah, whatever. But if it's just a Tuesday night and it's like they've always had stuff on Tuesday, why would you want to compete with them? Just do Monday night.
Well, and another step further, I brag about our community calendar because we work really hard on that. But with our members, we incorporate all of their live music events on there. So when an establishment is looking at booking someone, our hope is that they go to this calendar and see, okay, Jesse Wilson, we're going to use him, is playing 3 nights already this week.
Maybe call Scott Kirkland.
And we're yeah. And I think that's just a nice way for them to not have to wonder. They can just look at it, find it, and plan accordingly. It's also a great way for them to see maybe some names of some performers that they haven't had at their place.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes that's the funnest thing when you bring a new person in. Everyone's just like, "Who's the new guy?"
Yep.
And then they hear like a couple people on the internet talking about it, like, "I'm bringing the new guy to my place and having him play."
Right.
Whoever that might be. Like Spencer Suchan was one I was thinking of.
Yep.
He's opened up for Jesse a couple times, but he's starting to pepper in his own solo shows here and there. And it's like that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, and Evan. I mean, gosh,
Evan,
everybody.
for sure. Yeah.
Everybody. There was kind of a.
Evan Pratt, come on the podcast.
Oh, do you have to? He's not been on it yet.
He has not been on it yet.
Oh, he'd be great on here.
Yes.
I don't remember where I was going with that. Live music, not booking them every single night, not making people
calendar.
choose. Community calendar. Yeah.
Speaking of which, that there will be a link in the description. Check out the community calendar on the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association website. It's right down below. Just scroll down and give it a click. Yes,
Yeah.
It's down,
Yeah.
there.
Man, this last week I probably submitted, I'm going to say about 80 events on the calendar between now and like next May.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know it.
I mean, it's not crazy that there's that many events, but it's crazy there's that many planned out this far ahead.
Right. But again, you need to do that. I think I told you, and I don't know if I've mentioned this in another podcast or not, but one of the reasons why we wanted to do this community calendar is because this particular year there happened to be 3 plays happening the same weekend.
Oh, wow.
And, between the 3 community theater groups, which are Commedia Musica Players, Hawkeye Community Theater, and Stage Door Productions.
Yep.
But then we also have the Fort Dodge Middle School, which does a short play. We have both the high schools, St. Ed's and Senior High.
Iowa Central.
We have Iowa Central.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean...
I didn't even think about that. That's 7.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. It is unheard of for a community this size. But again, you don't want all those productions on the same weekend,
night,
and you want to be able to share with those groups what you're picking so that nobody's overlapping.
Oh, yeah, true. I mean, with a musician, you can cover the same song somebody covered last week and nobody cares.
Right.
We all want to hear Tom Petty every weekend or whatever it is.
Right.
I don't like Tom Petty. But, what? I'm sorry, everybody.
Really? We should talk more about that.
Oh, man. Evan Pratt looks like Tom Petty. No, I'm just kidding. I'll listen to Evan Pratt instead of Tom Petty.
I don't like Roy Orbison.
What? Okay, so there's where we have the impasse, because I do like Roy.
Okay.
So, all right. Hey, they were in the Traveling Wilburys together.
Yes.
So
yes.
we can meet in the middle and we'll just listen to some Traveling Wilburys.
All right, I can do that.
But yeah, I mean, I never thought about that with musicals and plays. I mean, it's not like there's only a finite number of them, but like maybe somebody chooses one at the beginning of one year and somebody else is like halfway through the year. They're like, we're going to do this in the summer, and somebody's already got a plan to do it in the winter. And it's like, we don't spend your money on the licensing and stuff because somebody else is doing it.
Right.
Right.
And we even look, Stage Door, what are the communities around us doing? Because we want people to bring their families and their kids and attend our shows and
I mean,
bring more than just Fort Dodge community to it.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this in FDT, about bringing people into town with our talent here, with our arts. So FDT, by the way, Shelly has started a podcast for the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. It is called FDT, FD, Fort Dodge, and then TEA, and that's a thoughtful exchange about the arts. So I will be the co-host. I'll be the guy sitting way on the side doing all the production work, and every now and then peppering in some like Andy Richter lines while Shelly...
refocusing us. We need that.
Trying.
I know. It's like herding cats.
I love it. But yeah, we had one episode come out. It's going to come out on the first Friday of every month, kind of give you a rundown of what's happening in Fort Dodge that month, or give you an idea of some things happening there, talking to some people that have events going on, etc. So,
and also a way to learn more about the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
That the history of it, the stories behind it, the people that have, been in longevity in these groups, and I think that's part of it. Yes, we want to promote the events, but learning more about the organizations and why they do what they do, and also how do they need help. Are they looking for volunteers? Is that something they're wanting? So yeah, I'm excited about this podcast. I'm excited about episode 2.
Yes,
that's going to be really fun.
Episode 1 was very well received. Had more listens than my podcast did that week. So good job.
How do we do on Spotify?
That would just be in the RSS feed, so
Okay.
I'd have to go look.
Okay.
We'll look after this and we'll talk stats. 'Cause
Okay, I was
that's,
just curious.
Yeah, that was something that we just kind of, we knew we wanted to do it. We had a broad outline of how to do it, and we just kind of were like, one day we were like, all right, we're doing it this day, and we're recording it, and we're putting it out on that day, and we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. Is like, well, you just have to pick something and go with it. I think that's also something with art, where so many people that are artists, I feel like, I made this thing, I don't like it, I'm just going to put it in the basement, never show anyone. But it's like, if you just make something, you just have to make something.
Start.
Just put it out there and let people say what they're going to say. It doesn't matter if it's a song, a piece of art, going to a musical.
Right? Fail forward.
Yes. I love it.
That's what I like to say.
Yeah, and you have to choose something. You have to make stuff. Like I find myself a lot of times being somewhat critical, where I'm just like, oh, this person made a song, it's not that great, whatever. They're always just making these songs. It's like they're making stuff, and I'm not doing anything.
Right.
I'm putting my whole self in the basement, not doing a damn thing. And these people are out there creating, and that's why I look up to them, though, is because these people are out there doing the stuff. They're wearing their heart on their sleeve, going out there, and I feel like they deserve the support. You know?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Musicians, going out, especially these solo gigs.
Oh, man, there's nowhere to hide.
That is brutal.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide.
Oh, my gosh. And the 4-hour sets,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I am exhausted after 2 hours. Like, how can you do 4 hours? Although I'm much older than I was when I was doing that.
Well.
But I just can't imagine now doing that. So I think it's very brave and it's very vulnerable, and it's a good time for most of them. They've caught onto their groove, and they're fun to watch.
Well, I think about stuff like this. Like, how many of these people just started out doodling on napkins and, eventually made their way to, like, I'm going to paint a whole piano, you know? And how many of those people did you choose to paint the pianos? Because that was like a project you guys had kind of started here.
We had, there's 24 pianos. We had a few people that overlapped on a couple different ones. So I'd say about 20 different artists for sure.
So it makes me wonder how many of these people, when you chose them, they were like, I'm going to put my name out there. We'll see what happens. I won't get chosen. Then they got chosen. They were like, I have to paint a piano now.
Right.
And then they did it, and it looks great. Like it's
Yeah.
one of those things you have to kind of get out of your comfort zone with art in some capacity.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association does a great job of kind of, I want to say, like, patting people on the butt and being like, go do it.
Right.
Get out there and go.
Yes, try.
Yeah.
There's other people like you. You're not alone in any of this. And the Blandon, as far as the visual part of it, that's a great place to start if you want to get your feet wet in the visual arts world. The classes that they have at their education center, the artists that they bring in just for inspiration. They've started this... I'm going to blow the name of it, but it's the Blandon Collective. It meets once a month on Saturdays from 9 to 10. And artists can go in and just talk about, this is what I'd like to do, or this is what I've been working on, get some feedback, network a little bit. And that's huge. And I hope, I haven't gone to that because I don't consider myself a visual artist at all. I can draw a really good clown head, but that... which doesn't come in handy very often. But I hope they get a good turnout for that, because there's a lot of people in the community that say there's no way for them to connect and showcase their artwork. Well, there is.
Yeah,
it's right there.
100%. I've never heard one person being like, I'm so mad I networked and met new people. Like, I'm so mad I broadened my horizons. Like,
I know. I'm so mad that I learned something.
Oh, man, how terrible it might be, I remember being younger, and I would say younger, like maybe 15, 20 years ago or something, maybe high schoolish, coming out of high school, somewhere in there. But I remember Blandon was, it would be like open, like as a gallery, you could just kind of go in, and I remember it either being free or not costing almost much at all for
It's
like
free.
something. So it's free.
Yeah.
And one of my friends from high school was like, we're all going to the Blandon, and I'm like, okay. And then you just get in the car and you go, and you're like, this is pretty neat. It's in Fort Dodge. I can't believe this. I mean, I'm from Humboldt. There is an arts council in Humboldt, but there's not really like a Blandon type place in Humboldt where you can go and be like, look at all this stuff somebody made, either from here or somebody that has ties to here. Usually it has some sort of something to do with Fort Dodge.
Right. Hans Madsen, do you know Hans? Photographer in town.
Yeah.
He worked for the Messenger off and on.
Yes, I do know.
He's a jack of all trades, really.
Yes.
This Hans
I believe
Madsen.
he put a picture of me in the paper not terribly long ago.
Probably.
Submitted one. Yeah.
That sounds like him.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's doing an exhibit at the Blandon. I think it's next spring sometime on the second floor gallery. So, yeah, check that out too. They about every 3 months, all 3 of their sections change artwork. it's a really cool amenity that we have in our town.
I feel like that's something that's undersold too. Is like, okay, we got graphic design, we've got people making non-digital designs.
Right.
We've got artists, we've got people who can sing, plays, musicals. I feel like photography gets undersold a lot in the art game because I mean, like anybody can snap a picture. We all got cameras on our phone. Everyone's got 28,000 pictures on their phone. Guess what? None of them are good. I'm just going to tell you that right away.
Wait, I have some that are no.
I took a picture of the comet the other night. It looked pretty neat.
Yeah.
It did look neat actually, but some photographers just have such an eye for stuff, and sometimes they're just goofing around. Like, I don't know, I took this one because I just thought it'd be funny, and it's like, that's better than any picture I've taken in the last 15 years. What's wrong with you? Like, and this is goofing around. Like, some of it is obviously the technology, and but there's a lot of it that comes down. You have to have the eye for it,
and the training. I mean, we're lucky, I think, out at Iowa Central to have a 2-year photography program.
Yeah.
Led by Rochelle Green, my good buddy. And she's doing an amazing, actually the whole college is doing an amazing job with incorporating digital arts and just kind of moving forward into the future, you know, with their programming and being open to adding new programs because that's what students need.
Yeah. Instead of just like a generic mass comm degree or whatever.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong with that.
But at the same time, it is nice to specialize at least a little bit into something. You can be a generalist, but I feel like in, this day and age, sometimes the specialists get a little bit more attention.
Sure.
So,
but again, in a town the size of Fort Dodge, to be able to be a hobbyist photographer and become professional. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, does Rochelle still have her shop down?
Her studio?
Yeah.
No.
I
think I can't speak for her. At one point she was, she's pretty tied up into the education world at Iowa Central and really just providing amazing opportunities for her students. She's always learning and growing with them. So I'm not sure.
All right.
I'm not sure.
So if you guys want to know, hit up Iowa Central, talk to Rochelle, and give her a high five. Because I mean, I've known about her since I was in high school. So we're talking like 15, almost 20 years.
She's really old.
No, come on. She's like my age and your age. We're almost the same age. Come on, what are we talking about?
I'm not going to say how old she is.
Oh, well, come on. We're all the same age. We're all this. That's how I view it, anyways. It's weird. You get to this weird 30s-ish age, and you're like, everyone's my age,
Everybody's
right?
about the same.
Everyone's my age, right? I'm like, or you're just looking around like you're in the middle of everyone's age. But yeah, she's been at least in some capacity doing photography or something with it to support this community for 15 plus years, I would say. I mean, that's me kind of trying to go back in my own head and think about it. But there's a lot of people in this town that have done things like that for this town. That again, it's like weird when somebody's just like, I didn't know there was a photography studio in town. It's like, what?
I know.
Where do people get seniors' pictures taken? But at the same time, like that's, if you don't have a kid, you don't know.
Right. If you haven't gone through it or you're from a different community, you're a transplant, you might not know. I wonder how many photographers are in Fort Dodge. I have no idea.
If you're a photographer, come down to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association building and let Shelly know you exist.
Well, that's another thing too. I am constantly meeting new people, and I hope that people continue to feel like they can at least reach out, share their work, share their talents. Just even get on a list of people that are interested in something. Because I love to know that. I love to create our go-to list and get it longer and longer and longer and longer. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that's something that's always changing. I remember that doing the podcast where I'd interview people, and then like within 6 months, it's like, well, this person isn't even in a band anymore. They don't play music and haven't since they were on the podcast.
Right.
So you kind of probably run into that too, where it's like, these are the people in town who are photographers that go out and do a lot of work as hobbyists. Maybe we can contact them if we need something or whatever, or we can just let them know that this is in existence or share their work or whatever it is.
Right.
And a couple of years goes by and they decide they have a new hobby or something, and it's things change or they move or have a job change or something, and it's like, well, now we need new people. And you're always. And
we talked about this in the FDT podcast too, like the theater groups. Now at this point. You're going to go to the Comedia show. You're going to go to the Comedia show this year. Whoever goes to the Comedia show this year is going to see a lot of new faces on the stage. So I love that too, that, it is revolving in that way.
It can be
evolving and revolving.
Yeah, it can be beneficial. Because I remember that was a topic we brought up in FDT was like, I've seen a couple musicals or plays, and it usually seems like the same people are in it. It's like, no, they're not. Especially since, and I don't want to throw COVID in here again, but like ever since then, things are revolving doors. It just keeps changing and changing, and things are changing so fast now that it's there's a place for everybody at the table. This town has always had a slice of pie for everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, always. That was something I was on a different podcast and somebody had talked about that, or was listening to one. It might have been Talk Fort Dodge something, but there's a slice of pie in this town for everybody. Speaking of which, the most popular Talk Fort Dodge episode, Shelly Bottorff.
Woo!
Yes. If you guys haven't ever heard of Talk Fort Dodge and you're from Fort Dodge and you're listening to this because of Shelly, go check it out. It's another podcast that's out there. Shelly was on an episode, talk to people in the community. I think you were episode number 2.
I think I was.
You were like basically the first guest they ever had.
I
so
was.
love it.
That was fun.
That was
Todd and Jeremiah.
Yeah, that was a good episode. And believe it or not, even though I know you and I've known you since basically the podcast started, I still learn things. You know, it's fun when you sit down and listen to other people's conversations, what else you can learn. That's kind of like what we're doing here.
Right.
And, you know, we have had interactions with the old podcast, you know, not the old, I always call it that, but it's like Audible Farm and Fort Dodge Fine Arts have had associations in the past where I see them right over there. There's some t-shirts still left over. I saw the post, maybe it was yesterday, was the anniversary post of when I donated those.
Oh my gosh.
So I donated some shirts when I got shirts down here to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. If you want a shirt, there's still some right over there.
I think there's extra smalls and smalls.
Oh, okay.
FYI.
Well, I can switch those out with some different sizes so we can get some more shirts in here.
Yeah.
That was something I wanted to do. It's like, I don't know how to support you guys in the best way. Here's some of my merch. Maybe I'll just tell people if they're in Fort Dodge, just go down and talk to Shelly and get a shirt. You can have all the money. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, then we don't have to worry about the whole like, I write you a check, you write me a check, we do this whole thing and blah blah blah, and you know, I'm not even gonna worry about it. Just take the shirts and sell them.
Just take the shirts and do it.
I mean, we did that with something else. Like I gave you a whole pile of stickers. It was like, just go in and get a sticker and talk to Shelly. That's all you have to do. It's free. Just go do it. Which I'll tell you, I'm going to leave you some stickers.
I was
again.
going to say, stickers are gone.
Yes, I will leave you more stickers for sure.
Yeah.
But that's like something I always thought was kind of fun about you is you just network with people. Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association networks with people. There's art from how many different artists in here right now?
There are, I think, 40 right now.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, some people I have several pieces of, and some just one. But yeah, there's Isaiah Deegan, of course.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Behind us. You know, he's one, I watch a lot of his painting videos, and he's one that'll start something, put it in the basement, and then bring it back and turn it into something completely different.
Yes.
He's very good with being patient.
I want to say I saw him do live painting at a music show once, and it was almost exactly like you described. He paints it. It's got greens and blacks and stuff on it, a couple streaks of yellow. And he just like looks at it and he walks away and he comes back and he paints the whole thing white and starts over.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing?
I know. I look at that. It stresses me out. Like, oh God, are you sure you want to do that?
But he knows what he's doing.
He
And it
does.
always comes out wild. And you're like, this is so cool. How do you think of this? How do you conceptualize this? Yeah.
His first live painting was for a Fort Dodge Fine Arts fundraiser. That was the
Nice.
first time that I'm aware of in Fort Dodge that they partnered live music with live painting.
Yeah.
And it's really taken off.
That's
you
fun,
see
yeah.
him everywhere doing this.
I saw him do it once at Shiny Top. And I don't know if it was for an event you had, or it might have been Reforge Initiative maybe did it or
Could be.
something.
Yep.
But yeah, super cool. I love things like that. And again, this town is just big enough to try goofy stuff like this and have it work out. which-
Sometimes it works. And sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
But this worked.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
For sure. And we're not afraid to try it anyway. So.
100%. Because I mean, that's what art is all about. We talked about it. You've got to get out there and try something. You can't just not try stuff.
Right.
You know?
Especially like the paint and sips. I mean, they've come up with creative ways to get people involved without them even realizing that they're wanting them to become artists potentially someday.
Yeah.
People maybe just like to drink wine.
Yeah.
And then they're, okay, all right, I'm pretty good at this, you know, and maybe it'll take off.
I love
But-
those because it's somebody basically like you have a couple drinks and they show you how to paint a painting.
Right.
Just do one of these. and
Step
then,
by step.
we can do one of these. And I can't do any of this stuff. I can doodle at best, you know?
I appreciate it.
I do too.
I get too hung up in my head about it.
100%. But I see people at those, you know, art wine things
Yep.
and it's crazy because it's like, I know some of these people. These people are not artistic and their paintings look great.
Right.
And it's like, I'm so mad. I want to go to one just to be like, can I actually do this?
I'd want to try.
I have to try this. Can I go and not drink the wine and just paint stuff?
Right. You could just bring juice.
Oh, yeah.
My new favorite thing that has come up, and I haven't tried it yet, but it's like painting your partner. or whoever you're with.
Oh,
So
I've seen those.
we should have done this while we were recording the podcast, like drew each other out.
I can only imagine what ours would have looked
And
like.
then it was over. We turned it to the camera.
Oh my gosh, it would have been hilarious. Well, we have something to do for the next episode.
But when you see the results of those online, oh my God, they're
I
hilarious.
love watching the people laugh. It's usually one person is just dying laughing, and
awful.
the other person's like, "What?"
Okay, so I'm going to do a quick plug here. Can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what this is for.
So we do a fundraiser every year called Poorly Drawn Portraits.
Okay.
And it kind of ties in with this. But we have just started opening it up. Basically, people pay $25. They email me a photo. And then the beginning of December, the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association board and several like actual artists volunteer. And we have a portrait sketching night. We recreate all of these photos. The fun is that you might get an artist that does your portrait.
Oh.
Or you might get someone with the talent of a second grader,
Okay.
which would be me.
Yeah, I was gonna say just using broken crayons.
Jason Laird, the chiropractor, has really come along over the last few years. He's on our board and drawing these poorly drawn portraits. But then, you deliver them and people give them as gifts and they are just a riot. A lot of people do pets, their kids, a wedding photo. I mean, it is hysterical. We die laughing the whole time we're doing it because we're all trying our best.
Yeah.
Like this, this is as good as I got.
This is awesome. I love this idea. So how do people get in contact to submit a photo?
So it will be on our website. That's actually being added this weekend at fdfineartsassociation.org.
Yep. Scroll down. It's in the description.
In the description. And then we also have it on our social media as well, and it'll be in the paper soon too. It just opened up this week.
All
So
right. What's the deadline for that?
December 9th.
December 9th.
So
You have
people
until
have time.
December 9th. Only $25. That's a Christmas gift right there.
It is.
Are
And
you
it
kidding?
comes in a frame. It's a cheap frame, but it comes in a frame. And that's it. Yeah.
Spend $100 on your mother-in-law. You never know what's going to happen. It'll be
It's
funny for
true.
everybody, or maybe she'll get a really great portrait of herself. You never know. I didn't mean to throw all the mother-in-laws under the bus. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't. Not all of them. But it has been just a hoot. And I wish that I would have videoed the people as I'm delivering these photos or asked them to take reaction pictures, of gifting it. 'Cause
Yeah.
that would be fun to share
Oh,
too.
that would be so awesome.
Poorly drawn portraits.
I love that idea. That's right here in Fort Dodge.
Right here
It's so
in Fort
fun.
Dodge.
Oh, that is so good. I love it. I love it so much.
But it doesn't cost us hardly anything to put it on, so the 25.
It's just the time.
Yeah.
The time of the people on the board who are possibly even just volunteering anyways.
Yes,
So,
that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we spend $1.25 on a frame.
Yeah. But
So-
it's still framed.
It's still framed.
It's still framed.
Be careful with it.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that is so fun. I might have to do one of those. What's the weirdest thing? You said somebody, people and pets. Is anybody sending anything other than those? Or has it been something like, I'm trying to think like, draw this car or something like
Nope, we haven't gotten that. Some landscape things, then they would send us another picture and say, can you put this person in this landscape?
Oh, okay, so it's
yes, we're
Photoshop
that
too.
good.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're that
We can certainly do that for you.
Absolutely.
We do our drawing of these at Shiny Top, and there was a group of women. I don't remember what group or what they were celebrating, but they were like, well, we want one. We want it tonight. So we quick did this portrait of these 9 women that had been there all afternoon. And that was a pretty funny, but no, nothing.
That's actually a fun one. A small group of people,
Yes.
that would be tons of fun.
Depending on your relationship with your boss, it could be a really fun, boss. Yeah.
Oh, this is gold.
It is.
And that's. I like how you lined it up for Christmas. Whether or not it was important or whether or not it was on purpose. That's what we're going for here. Everybody, just get $25. Come on, you're gonna spend $25 on something anyways. You might as well make it a gag gift that could end up being
Hilarious.
It could be a non-gag gift if an artist does it.
It could be. It could be beautiful. You might want to use it for your Christmas cards.
You never know. Oh, how funny would that be if you were like, I want one of these done, and then it ends up being good, and you're like, I wanted one of the funny ones.
They're mad that it's good.
They're mad they have a good picture for only $25. Oh, that's gold.
And then we usually do it again around Valentine's Day too,
Oh,
because
so
that's a fun.
So do you have any of these like cataloged? Are they on like your social media somewhere?
They are. And we just posted an image on social media with the poster. Like I said, it's just getting kicked off, but you're going to start hearing and seeing more about it
I
for
love
sure.
it. I can't wait. I'm going to have my eyes peeled for that. There's social medias in the description as well. Go follow them, check them out.
Please.
Oh my gosh.
Subscribe to our YouTube.
Yes,
That's our new
absolutely.
thing. We're
Yeah.
trying to really get subscribers.
Yeah, we've
And it makes me happy when the number goes up.
yeah, we've beautified the subscribers or beautified the YouTube page just a little bit. We added some logos and made some. There's links on there to everything. You guys did a like a mini series maybe a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, the arts chat.
Yeah, that was fun.
And that was all with basically an intern from Iowa Central that needed some portfolio building experience. So we pulled in some different people from the community and did a quick little chat with them in our back patio.
Yeah, it looked great. You transformed the place.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to whoever the intern was.
It was Evan Price. I don't know if you know him or not, but he's done a lot of different projects in the community. The one thing that as I was reviewing some of those after our podcast went live, Bruce Perry, who's from Sac City but passed away recently. And so I went back and I was listening to that, and it was just like, man, I hope that what he committed to in his career and his life for music and arts in Fort Dodge, that will continue on with. He was the director of Fort Dodge Choral Society.
Okay, all right.
So he had a connection here with that town, and he played for Grace Lutheran Church, and over the years, he and I became very good friends. So it was a huge loss for us, but it's been such a neat way to capture those
That's
memories.
what it's about. I know I've had one person that's been on my podcast pass away. So like I didn't think about it until then, where it's like I'm cataloging history here,
Right.
you know, which is kind of what the whole point of all of these little mini series, your new podcast. That's what it's about. We need to talk about these people before it's somebody at the Oakland Cemetery walk dressing up like them, trying to find their diary so they can act like them.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true, and it's been a great archive, and I'm looking forward to this FDT doing the same thing.
Yeah. There's one episode on there. There's going to be another one out there. Well, I mean, maybe by the time this releases, it'll be coming out soon. So,
Right.
so I mean, there's a link to it. It's down below. Click it. Go find it.
Yep.
The best part about that too is I put it on my channel too. So it's like, I don't know if anybody knows how YouTube works, but I made a playlist on your channel, and then I just shared the playlist on my channel. So if anybody's on Audible Farm and they watch it, it just goes straight to your channel and they watch it.
Amazing.
So it's super.
That's
easy.
why we have you.
Woo!
Because like, I don't know. Here's the login. Just go.
Yeah, see what you can do. Here's a couple pictures I found. I think these are big enough. Go. And
make it work.
You know, and that's the thing is like I don't have a background in like graphic design and those kind of things. So I can pull a lot of this stuff off just based on like sheer will and 20-year-old information and, you know, stuff, whatever. But like it's crazy when I see people doing other things for you. Like I know Kanan is redoing your website currently.
He's an Iowa Central student.
Iowa Central student, once again, pulling in the interns, pulling in the students that want to build portfolios. This is such a great place to do it. And Shelly, if Shelly doesn't have something for you to do, she can be like, go talk to them. They have stuff they need done.
Right.
And I'm sure they will say yes. You
Well,
know?
between all of our members, you know, there's always
yeah.
something, you know, like the Fort Dodge Symphony. I'm trying to find a student to work with them just to provide some new content for their website, some updated photos, make it look a little more current as to what they're doing. Because if you haven't been to a Fort Dodge Symphony show, you should really attend one of their concerts, because the conductor for that just has some really fun, kind of wild ideas and has incorporated some new things. It's not the stereotypical what you think of. I'm going to the not for me, but for people that would say, I'm going to the symphony, or I have to go tonight, you know, with my wife or my husband or whoever.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a really good. It's a really good time.
I actually went to one of those maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. It was right in that COVID-ish time. I went to one and I was like, this is freaking neat. It's in Fort Dodge. And it was in the new auditorium that's over by Floyd or Rosedale somewhere.
Yeah,
it was
the
somewhere
middle
over,
school.
Yeah, it was somewhere over there.
Yep.
So it'd be the middle school auditorium. Cool. Looks great in there.
Yeah. It does. That space like all of the other spaces, performance spaces is really great for certain things, and then has challenges, just like all the other places for certain things.
I'm sure, yeah.
But the symphony, that works out really, really well there.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the right thing. I saw the right thing. I went to the right thing. I know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
you were spot on with all of that.
All right, cool. Because I did go. I was gonna say I knew somebody that was in it. And they were like, yeah, just come check it out. I can't remember how much it cost. It might have been free. It might have been $5. It was. I was going to waste the money on something anyways. Why not just go?
Right. Check it out.
And I went and had fun. It made me think, actually, like, so did you play in any like band in high school?
I did.
Okay, so
Trumpet.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm a trumpet player too. We're both loud.
Yes.
So okay,
yes.
Here we go. Okay, so we're on the same page. Did you ever think that like this is the last time I'm going to sit down with 90 people and play music?
Right. No.
I didn't think about it. I didn't care nothing until I went and saw that, and I was like, I miss sitting down with a giant group of people and playing music.
Yeah.
And hats off to the people who are conducting and organizing the whole thing. You got to get, again, this is like herding cats. You got to herd all these cats together.
Well, and these cats are from all over the state. So, yeah, they have their work cut out. And their season goes through winter. So they have travel challenges, with all of that. But they are one of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts organization's longest members.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing, too. I don't know. I think this could be a lie, but I think they're celebrating their 75th anniversary next year for the symphony.
That's crazy. So let's talk
65 or 75, yeah.
That's a lot of years to be doing anything.
I know.
Oh, man. 75 years. Holy crap. So let's talk members then. So what is the benefit of being a member of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association? How many members do you have?
So currently we have about 68 members. We got 3 new ones just this last month with River Hops.
Cool.
Smitty's garden, lawn landscaping, all of the things. Yep, they are offering some different craft classes and different artsy type classes. They are also selling flowers at different productions around town with their new flower truck thing. So that's been a fun new addition. And then Jolene Hayes and her Upcycle Market.
Oh, cool.
Bloombarth just became a member as well. So with that number, I'm combining our for-profit and nonprofit members, but all of those are just in Fort Dodge.
Yeah.
And there are more. There are more, and I'm after them.
Yeah.
But so, just that number and all the amount of events that are going on and the community calendar, that is huge.
Yeah.
I would say, advertising, helping to spread the word. I present to community organizations all the time. And with the Greater Growth, I can't even say it, Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance and their leadership group, I always present to them as well. And so I share as much as I can about all of our organizations. We can just help them get the word out. And if they have some challenges or struggles, we can help them kind of brainstorm options with that. It just goes on and on. The podcast, that's going to be a great tool to be able to highlight each one of our members every month.
Yeah.
So we're revamping what some of that looks like because we want to stay current and keep our momentum ahead of the game, if you will. So
I'm thinking here, I can do crafts at Smitty's Lawn Care.
I mean, you have to go during the scheduled time.
I know, but I would have never known that, and they come here and it's like Shelly tells everybody you got crafts there and they can go there.
Right.
Also, let's talk about landscaping. Landscaping's an art.
It is.
I remember reading a book about it or something when I was younger because I don't know, maybe it was like my guidance counselor was like, yeah, here to read all these books about all these jobs or industries, and it's like you have to think about landscaping. I thought you just planted crap around your house, and like it's not that simple.
No, that is not one of my skill sets, but I appreciate a good landscape.
Oh my gosh,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to tend it, but that's what they're there for.
Hire them and continue to pay them.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, and then shortly after they became a member, they were looking at possibly getting some new photos for them as well. So I was Central Photography students, took a field trip day and created a beautiful album.
That's what you shared.
Yep.
Yeah, that was amazing looking.
Yep.
Oh, that was so fun. And again, it's that creativity of, I don't want to say like the creativity of a child's mind that hasn't been burdened by real life yet, or whatever.
Well, they are 18, 19.
Yeah. But yeah. But still, like the creativity some of them had for some of the pictures, it's like, this looks amazing. I would have never thought to take a picture like this.
Right.
Or, they're having fun with it, I think is what it is. And they haven't had their nice corners chiseled off into a round circle to be like, this is business only. We have to be very professional. And,
Right. No, they come up with some great stuff, and they do a lot of that. Just kind of pop up wherever in the community and do a little photo shoot, photo walk, or safari, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, cool. I never thought of safari.
Yeah, photo safari. I don't know, but that whole connection with Iowa Central is a perk as well. So, I had been working for Fort Dodge Fine Arts for several years. The president at the time, Dr. Kinney, met with me, and he said, "You are all over in the community. This organization is all over in the community. I love what you're doing for your members and organizations and how you're highlighting them. What can you do at Iowa Central to provide those same tools for our students?"
Opportunities.
So, yes. So we created this Iowa Central Community and Arts Director position. So I am out there as well.
Oh, nice.
So that helps me, though, stay in touch with those visual art students, community projects where they're looking for some help, that help them build their portfolios while they're here for 2 years.
Absolutely.
Or whatever. Theater students, some of them stick around in the summer. So you want to intern or you want a job with Stage Door and the kids show. So that's been a really fun aspect of my job too.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the funnest. Again, to some people, I could see where they'd be like, what do you do down here? But like we've talked about it for 40 minutes now, where it's like you are the person that's corralling all these people, and they come to you and say, well, what can I do to help? I need some help with this. Where do I go?
Right.
And you're the person that says, go over there.
Right.
You're the one interacting with all these different groups of people to see what can you provide, what are you providing, and what are you doing, and then
what's missing?
How can we come together and like I said, fill the holes that whatever's missing.
Yep.
And that's
and
beautiful.
I'm trying to stay in the know as much as I can. I know there's a lot I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of learning some of this as I go, but
that's why you have different board members and things,
Yes.
you're not the only one.
No, we have our board of directors is like one of my most favorite groups of people.
Yes.
Personally, over the last 4 years, I've had a lot of loss in my family, and this job and those people were just like key to me being able to get through some of that stuff. So this organization, those people, my job really means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I care about it, and so I want to be good at it.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. I like to say that. I mean, the arts in any capacity around Fort Dodge is just little pockets of families. And I feel like you're the one that, like, every town has that person's like, you're related to everybody in town.
I'm like the crazy aunt that just shows up.
You're related to everybody. You know somebody from all the different little mini families of artists in Fort Dodge, and it's great. And, I love what you guys do down here. I always have, and I've always kind of like looked up to it because I feel like this is kind of what, every town has, some sort of economic development or some sort of this, that, and the other. And like, I feel like they need an arts thing to help push the arts in the direction it needs to go. Otherwise, it's just going to disappear. Like we had talked about at the beginning of the episode, when I went to school, they were like, we need to cut a budget. And it's like, where are we going to cut? It's like, we need to cut some art classes in junior high, or we need to cut, do we need to cut the 5th and 6th grade band? What are we cutting? And it's like, no, we're not cutting this stuff.
I know. That it makes me sad. And actually some of that was the reason why I kind of got out of teaching in the school systems anyway. It was just, I didn't feel like I was impacting students or the community the way that I wanted to.
And how about now, though? Do you feel like you're making a bigger impact now doing what you're doing?
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. I'm
not talking about outwardly. How do you feel?
Right. Well, when I first moved here, I'm from Webster City, but when I first moved to Fort Dodge in 2008, I didn't know that my plan was now to stay here.
Oh.
But I wanted to travel. I wanted to use my accompanying skills in a professional setting.
For those that don't know, Shelly plays piano.
I do play piano.
Very well.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I had some outlets where I could do that. But gosh, living in Iowa made it so easy for these businesses and companies to fly me to the West Coast or fly me to the East Coast or down to Atlanta. I mean, it just kind of all worked out and the timing was good. But I never, ever would have expected that everything that I wanted to do that would make me happy would be right here in Fort Dodge. And so this is where I choose. This is where I want to continue to contribute. I have seen a lot of change, but my brain is like, there's so much more. There's so much more.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way my brain works with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I feel like you I mean, they got the right person being the executive director. If you, it almost feels like no matter how good everything is, you're like never content. It can always be better. There can always be something new we can add. My plate's never full enough,
Well, that depends on the month.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're totally right. And I mentioned this in the beginning of the podcast or beginning of this discussion as well. The part that gets tiresome is the part that's just in my DNA, the part where, gosh, I know why the arts are important, and you should too. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to keep reminding. That's a never-ending challenge, right?
Yeah, maybe somebody works a 9 to 5, has a part-time job and a family, and they don't have time for any of this stuff because they're always shuttling their kid back and forth or making dinner or whatever it happens
or
to
if
be,
they didn't grow up in any sort of creative way to express themselves, they don't know that maybe their kids need that.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't know why it's important.
Yeah. That's what those like wine painting things, like maybe you don't know you're good at it.
Right.
You don't even know you're good at it
Right.
until somebody's just like, just do it like this.
And maybe
like,
you're only good at it when you're drinking wine.
Yeah, which that's cool too. That's cool too. Oh, many artists throughout history. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, yeah, so the detailed fact. But we also have a lot of artists in the community that are doing multiple things. Clint Riedel.
Yeah.
Who knew that he was going to be an awesome artist?
Yeah, he's got a painting right over here, doesn't he?
Yeah, yep, one in our front window, that large one's his too.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a few hiding around here, but I love that too. He did a little show here and played, and that was fun.
Yeah, that's another one that I remember when I first had him on the podcast almost 5-6 years ago or whatever. We'd be hanging out at night sometimes, or record another episode, and then I'd leave and it'd be 11 o'clock, and then the next day he'd send me a picture I painted this last night, buddy. It's when did you have time to paint this? Where did the canvas come from? He's I just had some wood out back and a little extra piece of canvas, so I made it.
Of course he did.
Okay.
But his day doesn't always start at 8 a.m.
Oh, that's
I am going to say
true.
that.
Yes. Unconventional work hours.
Yeah.
For our little folk hero here in the Fort Dodge area.
Yep.
So
he puts his time in though.
Oh, he sure does. Yeah, he's all over the place too. I mean, he's playing some fun shows this weekend too. I can't remember where at, but
always somewhere fun.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. There's always musicians playing. There's outsiders coming into Fort Dodge, and that's another thing. We didn't talk a whole lot about. We were going to come back to it, but the arts here bring people in from the outside. We talked about it a little bit in FDT. You were talking about how it takes about 100 miles away. You have to go almost 100 miles away to get a town like Fort Dodge with stuff like Fort Dodge.
Yeah.
It's not that there's never music in Pocahontas, but it's not really known as a place where there's music every night of the week.
Right.
Or whatever.
And I'd be curious how many. I've never looked this up, but how many community theaters are in Ames?
I don't know.
How many community theaters are in Des Moines? I don't know. There might not be 3.
I don't know. I know there's at least one. I knew a guy that did musicals down in Des Moines, and he was super good. Could dance really, really well.
Yeah.
And
show me what he did. What are
show
some
you
moves that
Oh,
he did?
okay. Yeah, ready for this? Not gonna happen. I heard you try to goat Jeremiah and Todd into singing on their episode of Talk Fort Dodge.
Why wouldn't I?
It does not work like that. Not over here.
I was trying to create a distraction of some sort.
Oh,
that
my
one was
gosh.
really early in the morning too.
That was, yeah. Well, this isn't early in the morning, but it still feels early because it's a weekend for me. So yeah, we've covered about an hour here. We've talked a little bit about everything Fort Dodge Fine Arts. Again, this is not Shelly Bottorff versus the world here. You have a team around you.
Yes.
People that are helping you. You have a community around you. You have members of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association that are helping you help each other.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's for everybody. You're not here to benefit yourself and then walk away at the end of the day with a fat paycheck and just be like, got him.
Right. Right.
You're entrenched in the arts yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You are one hell of a singer. I will say that too. It's something we did not mention in this episode. And she's going to be like, no, I'm not. But go to the jam nights here in Fort Dodge, the third Thursday jams. You sing sometimes.
I do sing sometimes.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Every time,
Thank you.
Every time you do sing, though, I'm just like, I forgot she could sing this freaking good, And
well, most of the time people see me behind the piano.
and that's I think what it is. It's like I know you as a piano player.
And it's been a while since I've been in a group singing. So
Well,
my
maybe
last was Short and Scruffy with my brother-in-law.
that's
Our group was Short and Scruffy. I was short.
Yes, that's such a fun name.
And we wrote the Shiny Top theme song.
Oh, nice. Where can I hear the Shiny Top theme song?
At Shiny Top. I don't think we ever did anything with it.
Oh, man.
But they use it for different things.
Good.
Yeah. Shine
Nice.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Well, maybe that's your new thing. You could be writing jingles.
I could. I also wrote one for Soldier Creek for their Ghost Pig cider wine beer thing. I don't think they've used it.
Oh, well,
I forgot about that till right now, so I'll be calling them shortly.
we have
see
a whole
what they did with
we
that.
could have a whole 2.5 Men thing going on here. You could be writing jingles for people and
We
stuff.
could. We could. Ooh, you'd be good at lyrics.
I'll tell you what, I'll become a single dad real quick. I'll bring a kid in. We'll just kind of hang out all day.
Fine.
All right, sounds good. We've got a plan for the future.
We do have a plan. I got excited about that.
So here's one thing before we end up wrapping this episode up. There's stuff on your desk. What's on your desk? Is that stuff you wanted to talk about on the
No,
episode?
not necessarily. This one is. Some of them are just some
Let's
notes
talk about it
for
here.
myself. But we didn't really talk about Phillips Auditorium and that whole project, which is fine. I didn't even think of it till now. But that's been a really huge project for the
Yes.
Fort Dodge Fine Arts for the last few years.
So we'll scoop this up in a couple sentences.
I know. So we are on year 4 of opening the auditorium and using it. And we have tripled the amount of events that are in Phillips Auditorium for this school year, we'll call it. We're not open in the summer because there's no air conditioning.
Yeah.
And as Jason Lair says, it's hot as balls.
Yes, go back and listen to FDT episode 1. That is full of one-liners.
It is full of one-liners. But anyway, Sunday, December 15th, we are bringing Sean Johnson and the Big Band Experience to Fort Dodge. Sean Johnson is a member of Tonic Solfa, if any of you have ever heard of that a cappella group.
Yes.
And he's bringing his horns and some other instruments with him to put on a full show. It's their Cool Yule tour for the holidays. There's a general admission price of $35, but you can also do a meet and greet beforehand where you get some extra music and talk and take photos and things with the band for $50 as well. And you can get those tickets online at Eventbrite or at the door.
Yeah. You gonna have a link to that on your social media or
It
on
is.
your website?
Yep, it's pinned to the top of our Facebook right now.
That's perfect.
And then again, we have Kanan working on our website
Nice.
to be able to pop this in there as well. So
Cool
tickets are
beans.
available. People have already started buying them. This is definitely next level for us in that space.
Yeah.
So we need people to attend. We need people to support. We have our liquor license, so that's been a nice
cool.
amenity for
Nice.
us that other auditoriums don't have.
Yeah.
A Hawkeye Theater does, but
Yes.
as far as the big auditoriums, so yeah, it should be a fun night, December 15th, 6:00.
If you've never been to the Phillips Middle School auditorium, which is no longer a middle school,
No, it's a luxury apartments.
which they are kind of neat.
They are really neat.
It's pretty neat. You go to this place and you can go watch a show and then walk down the halls and see people that are like taking their dogs outside or
Doing
something.
laundry.
It's so fun. I love it. But there's also like that place has like a bunch of little nooks and crannies where it's like I can sit here and read a book if I wanted to or
Yep.
something. I love it. It's such a neat place, you know.
And I think it's to capacity, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so it's all filled up.
So it's mostly, it's all filled up. And those tenants get deals on the events that are happening in the auditorium. So that's kind of a way to show appreciation for us invading their space. Like, come to our things. We want you to come. We want you to come so much that it's going to be free or greatly reduced. And I just figured out that if those residents, if each one of them takes advantage of every event that's going to be in there this school year, it's like over $200 in tickets per person that lives there.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I hope they come and experience these
Yes.
shows as well.
So the recommendation is to check for vacancies, get an apartment there,
Yeah.
and then come watch some free shows.
I know. I might just move in.
Yeah. I mean, you basically do live there.
I know.
You spend so much time there.
I do spend a lot of time there. It used to be scary, but I've gotten over that.
I remember when Jesse Wilson shot a music video in there, and I was like in there doing stuff, and we're moving stuff kind of out of the way and kind of organizing it so we could do this music video, which we had permission to do and stuff.
Yeah.
But I found a little Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association sign. I remember like pulling it out of the corner and taking a picture with it, like, look what I found, Shelly. This is awesome. It's so fun.
I still have that photo. I'm sure somewhere.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great auditorium. It's 2 levels. It looks gorgeous. This is a wintertime thing. You don't have AC. Do you have heat?
Yes, we do. We have.
All right.
We have heat, and even with the air, I mean, we do have some air conditioning, but it just cannot keep up in the summer. And why make people miserable? So that's when we get all of our work done.
I love it. That's such a great place over there.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't talk about in this episode that we
lots of things, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But you gotta pick a point at some time.
Well, if we don't talk about it the next time you're on, we'll talk about it on FDT.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
So again, everybody, FDT. We're gonna go back to that one. If you listen to podcasts and you listen to this one and you're subscribed, you're going to listen. It'll be right there in your feed. You don't have to do anything. Just click it and listen to it. If you do the YouTube thing, it's on Audible Farm's channel, but it's actually on Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association's channel with your mini series, maybe some other new stuff coming up. You never know.
You never know.
You
won't know till you go.
Yes. So go check out Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association's YouTube channel. That's where this is going to be. That's where you can watch this. That's the most important thing. If you want to, if you want to watch us goofing around, go there. You can listen all day and night on the podcast streaming services, but it's free to watch it over there on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So check it out. Shelly, I can't believe it took us 6 years basically to get you on the podcast.
So will this be what episode will this be?
224, if I'm thinking ahead. I'm trying to think. 224, yeah.
I'm okay with that number.
Yeah, 224 episodes came and went before I had you on the podcast. I feel so ashamed right now.
Life. It's just life.
It is life, yes. You're a very busy person, as, I.
Yes.
So it takes a couple tries sometimes to get you and me in the same room together.
It does, and it just depends on the time of the year. So,
yes.
But thank you for including me in this. Like I said, I'm sure there are things that we're going to get done. I'll be like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Duh. Why don't we talk about that? But.
Yeah, dog ear him for next time, or you have your own podcast. Talk about it on there. Yeah.
I do.
Yes,
That's exciting.
I just want to say thank you for supporting Audible Farm through all the years. I'm just a guy with some simple recording equipment, talking into a microphone with artists, musicians, entertainers, promoters, comedians, you name it. Mm-hmm. And you, for some reason, thought it would be a great idea to support me in doing this, and I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate
no problem.
it so much.
We are happy to do it. I want to see you succeed. So however we can help.
And that's literally what Shelly's been doing for your 70-ish members in Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association.
Trying.
Oh, thank you so much for what you're doing. I appreciate it. If you guys want an Audible Farm sticker, swing by, say hi to Shelly. I'm going to drop a bunch off here in her office, and you can swing by, look at the art. I like this beer clock. It's over here. Every time I'm in here, I look at that thing. I like it a lot. So come check out the beer clock. There's all sorts of stuff in here. Play a jingle. Do a little duet with Shelly here. We can do a little
some heart and soul or something.
Let's do something fun here. So thank you very much, Shelly. I appreciate you taking time out of your day today to talk to me.
Anytime. Anytime.
You're the best.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Hey, all right. There we go. We got another episode in the bank. What'd you think of that one? I can't believe it. I never had Shelly on the podcast before. I feel so guilty for not having her on the podcast. But, correcting the wrongs of my past again here. So I thank you, Shelly, for coming on the podcast. It was great to sit down and talk with her. She again played along wearing the antennas from Fraggle Rock as long as she could. It was, we had to have a little bit of fun for the Halloween episode since the podcast is back, everybody. So I couldn't have thought of a better guest than Shelly. Again, I can't believe she was never on an episode before, but she's on it now. And thank you very much to her and all of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association for helping out with Audible Farm and everything we do over here. So I appreciate it very much. And thank you to Shelly for being a guest. Make sure you go down below, check out all the links for the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association, and go out to one of those jam nights. You might hear Shelly singing a little bit. We talked about that in the podcast. Great singer. She's amazing accompanist. Go to basically anything with music that needs an accompanist on piano, and she'll be there in town somewhere playing. It seems like that. But yeah. Again, Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association website. Go down, check it out below. Also, check out their community calendar. Such a great thing. Always updating it. There's so many events in Fort Dodge. if you want to know more about it, I know that Shelly, like I said in the podcast, has been on Talk Fort Dodge on an episode, so that's definitely worth checking out as well. Otherwise, go to their YouTube. They've got all sorts of fun stuff there, and it's I think it's just going to be getting bigger and better for them. I think they're on their way up. It just keeps getting better, everything they do. I can't believe it. It's wow. Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association is great. Go check it out. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, if this is the first you're ever hearing of it, go to the office and check it out. Go to their website, check it out. And ask questions. See what you can do to help out. See what they can do to help you out. It's such a symbiotic relationship between the community, the artists, and the businesses. It's weird that I don't know why more towns don't have that. But it's great. Thank you very much, Shelly. Also down below, you can check out all the Audible Farm stuff, all the links, whatever. If you don't want to go filter through everything, just go to audiblefarm.com. Patreon, you can catch the episodes a day early. Thank you to the people on Patreon. And that's it. I'm out. Peace.